Welcome to my show. I'm a guest here. Her name is Michelle Doan. Mrs. Mitchell, how are you doing, ma?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
And also, thank you so much for the time and the opportunity. Firstly, you are an entrepreneur. You are also a single mother and also the founder of Emani. Can you
Yeah.
please, Mrs. Mitchell, discuss more about yourself and how you're doing currently now, Mrs. Mitchell?
Uh, well, I am living life in HD. It's been a really long journey. I started the company because I had horrible skin. And so since the age of 15, I broke out. I had cystic acne and that extreme frustration and lack of self-worth um, is what drives me. It's what I'm passionate about. And I started the company almost 30 years ago. It's a very unique, special company. We focus on skin health and results. And I have three beautiful children, and I have three beautiful grandbabies. And I live in Southern California, so life is really good. And I'm so grateful.
Definitely beautiful, Mrs. Mitchell. You know, every single one of us have this kind of vision and also experiences that actually make us explore better and also explore more broader. But yours is in the position of the skin area, and which you realize is something that needs to be fixed. And also, people who are also out there could also be facing the same situation that also needs to be resolved as well. And also, I do know that you are more of the entrepreneur perspective, but in regards to the experience you've had, have you written any book or are you planning to write any book in the coming future, Mrs. Mitchell?
If I was to write a book, it wouldn't be about business. If I was to write a book, it would be about my life. There are a lot of business books out there. I am an immigrant to the United States. I was considered to be a boat person. I came from Vietnam, didn't speak English, and we escaped Vietnam by boat in 1979. I lived in a refugee camp, and my mother is my inspiration because she left Vietnam to charter on something that is unknown and can be really scary with six very small children. My brothers and sisters and I were in the age of 2 to 16. We escaped on a boat and lived in a refugee camp for a year before we were accepted to move to Canada. And so that journey and that hardship and those obstacles really shape character. And for the longest time, I felt out of place. And I felt we were very poor when we came to this country. And it was with me for a long time. But that mindset is just a mindset. And when I learned about changing my mindset from have to get to, my life start to be better, to look better, to be more optimistic.
Very much beautiful, Mrs. Mitchell. Having a lot of experiences from the point of Vietnam down to the Canada, if I'm right, shows a lot of experiences that goes with your parents and also how you guys actually started from scratch and also a sense of momentum that despite the position we find ourselves, despite how tough it can also be as well. I think if we have that mindset that we can actually get out of the situation with joy, we have a higher chance to actually get out of it. And what I would also like to drive to the point of the skin, which is our core discussion today, Mrs. Michelle. Because for people, or probably for
Mhm.
listeners who have struggled with sensitive
Mhm.
or changing skin, how do you
Yeah.
think they can begin to see their skin not as something to fight against, but as something that may be communicating an important message about their body and well being? Mrs. Michelle.
Yeah. Michelle would be great. You don't have to call me Mrs. Thank you so much. Yeah, you hit on a point that's really important. Um, Or when our skin is sensitive and when it's inflamed and when it's breaking out, A, it could be genetic, B, but it could be lifestyle, and C could be environmental, right? There's nothing much we can do about genetics because I come from a line of family with cystic acne, with psoriasis, with dandruff, like skin issue. I have ultra sensitive skin. So genetically, there's nothing that I can change about my marker, right? Secondly, lifestyle. Lifestyle really impacts. And, people ask me, what's your secret? Is that I'm like, I sleep 8 hours a day. I really do. I prioritize sleep. I prioritize hydration. And people usually laugh. It's like, what about coffee and soda? I'm like, no, that's not actually hydration. Hydration is literally free, is water. And if you can drink water and eat real foods and not processed food, I think those things are really important. And also understanding what you are putting on your skin as well, because there are thousands and thousands of ingredients that can clog your pores, and that can actually affect your skin in a very negative way. Environmental comes to our weather, our sunshine. Are we protecting our skin? Also, I mean to say lifestyle stress has a lot to do with it. And when I was living in a very stressful period, I started the company in 97 while I was going through a divorce as a single mom. My life was not pleasant and it was really stressful. So I was living in like a beta brainwave. Beta brainwave, it's like fight or flight, right? And I'm always anxious. I'm always fighting. I'm always pushing. And I lived in that state for so long, not only affected my skin, but it affected my overall health. Now, what I live with is chronic inflammation, and chronic inflammation really messes up your gut microbiome and how I digest food and things like that. So, skin is not just one factor, but it's actually the entire health factor.
Sincerely appreciated for the great insights, Mrs. Mitchell. It shows that a lot of features can actually be a issue or actually be an obstacle when it comes to our skin. And also, it's also a source, as a source of a position whereby it can affect every single area of our health as well. It affects the mental and also every single status as well. And different things and also areas can be a source to actually the skin infection or issue that could happen along the way when it comes to our skin. And that is why I would like to drive to the point whereby you think one can try to develop a more healthier relationship with their skin. Because most of the time we often ignore our skin when we bathe and we cream, we do not really see it as something really much important, down to the point where we realize that I think something is wrong with the skin, and now we start to look for solutions up and there. So, how do you think someone can try to develop a healthier relationship with their skin when frustration, insecurity, or disappointment have shaped the way they see themselves in a long time? Mrs. Mitchell.
I love these questions because I think how we feel about ourselves really affect our mind, spirit, and emotions and self-worth, right? And so, and this is for men as well. This is not just about women when we're thinking about like our skin and how we perceive ourselves. And and sometimes they have these things for men that's like 3 in 1: hair, body, and face wash. I think it's actually not really great because things are supposed to, clean your hair and your body and everything else. It comes down to like understanding skin biology. And you don't need like a bunch of steps to really get really good skin. Your skin needs like proper nutrients, like type of cleansing, and then also a really good moisturizer, and then a good SPF. Now, I know K beauty is really popular everywhere, especially in Nigeria. But as much as I respect K beauty, the issue that I have being a sensitive skin consumer is that they have a lot of ingredients that comes from sources that I wouldn't want to put on my skin, which is petrochemical. There's parabens, and they have fragrances. Fragrances has over like 26 different allergens, right? And for people with sensitive and acne, those allergen can cause your skin to irritate. It can be red. It can clog your pores. So habit is one thing. It's great that you clean your skin, but what you do it with and how you nurture your skin can really impact your skin health.
Mm, I sincerely appreciate you for the great insight, Michelle. It shows that our skin actually plays several roles when it comes to our decision, our relationship. Every single role it actually gives the sense of what as well. And that shows how important skin is in our health and also how it can actually be a source of growth and also a source of I say probably an anxiety or a source of pressure in our life as well. And also, I would like to drive to the point of the role you think respecting the skin biology plays in
Yeah.
also helping people move away from quick fixes because that is very
Oh,
important. A lot of people are always, I think this is happening to me. I want to get something very fast done about it. And towards a more grounded, long term approach to skin
mm,
health, Michelle.
yeah. I love this because I always use this example. When you go to the gym 1 or 2 times, are you going to lose the weight? Are you going to be stronger just doing it 1 or 2 times, right? The same thing with skincare. It has to be consistent and it has to be in a way that is healthy for your body and healthy for your skin. So quick fixes are okay for short term, but there's also post care. Let's just say Retin-A, for instance, right? Retin-A, it's available and it can be, they made it really cheap. But we have to be really careful about where they're sourcing, the level of retin-A, and the aftercare that comes with it. Because retin-A is really great for acne, it's really great for hyperpigmentation, it's great for inflammation. But if you use it for a really long time, it makes your skin a lot thinner, and then you're going to be prone to more damage, skin damage, and if you're not protecting your skin from the sun, especially if you're in Nigeria where it's extremely hot, extremely humid, extremely sweaty, and then your sweat has bacteria in it, that also affects your skin as well. So we really focus on if you're going to use retin-A, do it short term under professional care where you understand what is involved, right? And then there's also exfoliation. Exfoliation feels really great, but there are so many exfoliators that you can use. Some are harsh than others. It's good to exfoliate 1 or 2 times a week. That's great. If you exfoliate too often, or if you use a cleanser with exfoliation, it may be too harsh on your skin, and you're not allowing your skin time to really rest. So it really is about balance and education. And then you also think about moisturizer. Now, you might be thinking, I have oily skin. Why are you asking me to put on moisturizer? Because, oily skin usually are sign of dehydration, right? So you need the right kind of like moisturizer, like hyaluronic acid to help to really balance it. We have a couple of serums. One of our serum that is just made for oily balanced skin, oily combination skin, and that's to help regulate the oil production. And it comes from like a fermented ginseng. Not only helps to regulate balance, but also helps to reduce the pore size and it also helps to purify. So our focus is like not having 10 different steps, but having like a good cleanser, and then just a good serum that is like super dense, nutrient dense to really give your skin a lot of relief. So when it comes to skincare, whether it's through Emani, we created what I call the 3 Ps in skincare, which is potency, penetration, and proven. Potency is um, transparency of like how much percentage of an active ingredient is in a formula. For instance, someone can say, oh, vitamin C serum or vitamin C moisturizer. Always ask how much is vitamin C is in your product. because you can have 0.001% or 0.0% or like less than 1% and still call it vitamin C, but you won't get any results because there has to be technical clinical testing to have a certain percentage to work. Like with us, like our Hello Bright Eyes have 9% vitamin C. Why do you say 9 to 10%? Because if we put in 20% of vitamin C, we're like, well, more is better, more is not better. 20% vitamin C will cause skin to irritate, especially sensitive skin. Okay. Then the second P is penetration. Penetration is like the delivery system. Our skin like has a natural protective layer, and thank goodness for that. But how are we going to be able to deliver these nutrients to your skin? And so this is where ours is uh, plain beauty, but we combined it with Korean technology. And the patent Korean technology we use is a fermentation and using kimchi lactobacillus. What that means is that we take ingredients that are 200 parts per million and process it, and it becomes 2,000 parts per million. That makes it more bioavailable. What that means is it absorbs faster, it works a little bit deeper in your skin, it's going to give you more results. And the third P is that has it been proven? Clinically proven, but also clinically proven with real testimonials because a lot of brands have testimonials and they may not be authentic testimonial. And then the fourth one is just try it and see if actually going to work for your skin. But do your due diligence and understand ingredients and to see how transparent a company is about their ingredients and their process. Not just pretty packaging and skin talk, because you saw it on Skin Talk on TikTok. That doesn't mean it's going to be great for you or a good fit for you.
Mr. Mijay, I sincerely appreciate you bringing out the details when it comes to the skin. It shows that the skin is a very, very sensitive thing that we actually need to understand, process, and actually take our time to get it resolved as well. But whether we're trying to preserve it or we're trying to resolve the issue, we have to take our time. We have to try to avoid something that's actually come very fast. That is a quick fixes or something that we can do within a day or two. It's something we have to do constantly, something we have to try our best to use within ourselves before we start to see the changes start to emerge within ourselves and we start to see the beauty that starts to come out as well. Lastly, Mrs. Michelle, I would like to drive to the point of the area. You think people who really feel like the skin problem have affected how they showed up in their relationship, the people they talk to, other areas in their life, their work, or their everyday lives as well. What do you think helps them rebuild both understanding and confidence, Michelle?
Um, I wanted to add one more thing about, you know, expecting really good results in a fast, timely manner, right? Find a really good skin esthetician, right? And sometimes the big ticket, pricey skin services uh, may not be like the best. So you have to find someone who's really good in your area that understand the skin, right? In the US, there's a trend for microblading, which is really good. Enzyme pills that are really good. Um, um, Microneedling or all these different services. But if you want immediate results, find a really good skin therapist that can help you on this journey. And then you can do the post care. So if you want a result, don't do it yourself at home and try these crazy, pills, peels. And so find a reputable person to do it and then do the post care. Now, how does skincare and how does our skin and our self perception affects different areas of our life, right? And I don't look at skin as just a single component. I look at all of the what I call our quality of life has to come from our heart, not just our beauty. And it has to be like the coherence between our heart, our mind, and our body, right? Skin is just one tiny sliver of what that is. And what I focus on and I find joy is not just having good skin, right? And you don't have to have beautiful skin to be beautiful. The way I look at it is this way. An average person, it's been proven, have over 80 to 90,000 thoughts every single day. And that's like how fast our mind works. And 90% of it are a repeat of yesterday's thoughts, right? So we're not really introducing anything new, but if we understand the pattern, how our mind works, and how our thoughts are shaping the quality of our life. If you think about negative thoughts and issues and problems, your mind is going to find that, and it's going to be hard to find joy, and it's going to affect your relationship. So the first relationship is with yourself. How how good is the garden of your mind? Is the garden of your mind full of weeds? Or is the garden of your mind like, full of thoughts that can help you grow, that connect with your bigger purpose? Are your thoughts making you a better human being, a better friend, a better husband, a better wife, a better, son and daughter? How do you show up is a beauty. It's just not about skin. And it took me over 50 years to really learn that. And now I truly live life in HD because I spend many, many decades living in the past and living in the future where it causes me to have anxiety. And all we have is today. And I live in gratitude. And gratitude is hard when we are struggling, but it's a practice that we can try and then we can focus on just having a beautiful life, no matter where we are.
I sincerely appreciate you for the wonderful insights, Mrs. Mitchell. You actually made one of the most important points. Our skin is great, but we do not have to be in the position to use anything with our skin. We have to try our best to seek therapists and also seek people who understand it better. They could know how our skin works and what can actually work with it to also help it to actually emerge and also become better as well and also heal if there is also any issue as well. And also you made mention
Mm,
of the mind. Our mind is very powerful. Our thoughts,
mm,
what you are thinking, what you are actually
yeah.
processing, it plays a very powerful role in our outside world. It plays a role in our relationship, even in our appearance as well. It actually affects every single areas in our life, and that is why we have to nurture the mind. And I love what you said, gratitude. Giving that gratitude, despite how difficult it is, it gives us that nature of giving back the mind, the bridge that it needs to actually come back again and actually build the nervous system to actually come back on board. Our mind plays a very huge role in our life and we have to continue to nurture it. So I sincerely appreciate you for the great insight, Michelle. Michelle, there is also a question Anamali asked during the end of the show. From our forefathers, from our ancestors, there are a lot of beautiful things that do exist during our forefathers' time that is missing in our time today. If there is anyone or anything you would like to bring back to our time today, what do you think that thing will be, Michelle?
It wouldn't be just one thing. It would be a combination of family, community, and nature. I feel I feel like we live in a very fast moving world with a lot of information. And I feel that in general, as a world, I think we're more lonely now than we were ever because we are so connected to our devices and we're not connected to each other. And living in the present and living in the now, I think it was really important. Like our forefathers, we're talking about eons. They used to sit around the fire, and in Vietnam, fishery, was really big. And when you're out there and you're doing this labor in your own nature, and you're communicating and you're creating something that you bring back to your community, I think it's really powerful. And that's like the purpose. So back then it was like the physical purpose that connect us. And the question that I want people to think about is that how can we connect with others to improve the quality of our life, right? And how do we rewire our brain to um, understand our mind? So there's two things that I would love to recommend. There's two books that I love, and I'll recommend something on YouTube. I call it YouTube University. The first book is "Don't Believe Everything You Think" by Joseph Nguyen, Nguyen, Joseph Nguyen. I love that book. Another old book that I love is The Four Agreements by Senor Miguel Ruiz. And then every morning to rewire my brain, I go on YouTube and I listen to Louise Hay, Hay, and she talks about, manifestation, about rewiring your brain, about like miracles. If you had told me a year ago about these things, I was like, I would roll my eyes and I'm like, I try manifestation, it doesn't work. I try journaling, it doesn't work. It's not the words that we speak, it's the energy that we vibrate.
Mrs. Michelle, you actually made one of the most important insights, which is family, and actually trying our best to come together. And you also make the process we can also do, our brain, our mind. It plays a very huge role in the way we can come together and actually make things that are more profound, and most especially living in the present. With the what we see, during our forefathers' time, they live more in the present. And with what we see around us now, we could find ourselves in a position whereby we get easily distracted and look at I think, focus on what we are not meant to focus on. And that is the issue we have most of the time today. But we have to try our best to work on our mind, nurture our mind, and try our best to stay in the present because that is where the joy is, that is where we live, and that is where we find
Yeah.
ourselves currently. And Michelle, I want to use this opportunity to thank you for the time and the opportunity for us to have this profound and insightful conversation on our skin. Thank you so much, Michelle.
Yes. Yeah, and I wanted to let you know that Imani is coming to Nigeria this holiday season. And so it's going to be available in Perfect Trust.
Definitely. All right, Mrs. Michelle. Have a wonderful day, Mrs. Michelle. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you. Have a great day.